Hi, in this video we're looking at part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. We'll be seeing some sample questions and answers to this part of the test. Now the questions we'll be looking at are very common styles of question that come up in this part of the test. And they're all on a specific topic that I've chosen, and that is the topic of flowers and plants. Quite a strange topic, you might think, to be asked about in the IELTS speaking test, but this is often what the examination is trying to do. They'll try to ask you questions that kind of take you by surprise or shock you a little bit. Some kind of questions that are asking you on a topic that you don't really expect to be asked about. Now, they're not going to be the most complex questions, but they're designed to kind of shock you a bit to make sure you haven't just memorized a set answer to give in this part of the test. And they'll always do this. They'll always try and shock you a bit, surprise you a bit, but really all you have to do is listen carefully and answer the questions in a pretty simple way. When we look at the answers to the 4 questions we're looking at in this video, after we've looked at them, I'll give a quick analysis of those answers and kind of explain a bit why they would be appropriate and high-level answers for this part of the test. So let's get on and look at those questions and answers first, and then we can come back and analyze the answers afterwards. Here we go. Do you have a favorite flower or plant? No, I wouldn't say I have a favorite, but I do like pretty flowers that smell nice. What kinds of flowers and plants grow near where you live? I live in a big city, so there aren't so many. The city has a few nice parks with large trees and different kinds of flowers, but they're not really that near my place. Is it important to you to have flowers and plants in your home? Not particularly. I don't think I've got any plants or flowers in my home. Thinking about it, maybe I should get some. Have you ever bought flowers for someone else? Yes, I usually get a bunch of flowers for my wife on special occasions. She seems to appreciate it, and seeing her smile cheers me up a bit. So there we go. You see, we had 4 questions there, all focused on the topic of flowers and plants. The questions weren't particularly complex, nothing too difficult there. But they're all focused on that topic and testing slightly different things in English to check whether the student in the test can kind of show these different skills. You'll see in the answers, there was, again, nothing too difficult shown in the answers here, really. They're just nice, concise answers using full sentences. Usually you'll notice that they're using 2-sentence answers, although there was an exception to that at the beginning. For the first question, we did see a 1-sentence answer. These are the type of answers that are going to be appropriate for this part of the test. You don't want to go on too long with your answers, and if you do, it's very likely that the examiner in the test will interrupt you and ask you the next question. What we'll do now is just go through each of those answers very quickly, and I'll explain why I think they're pretty high-level answers that would be doing enough to get a really high score or give the examiner a very good first impression in the first part of the test. So that first question, which was, do you have a favorite flower or plant? Now, of course, if we look at the answer, you can see here we've been nice and direct with the word no, right? When you have a do you question, it's often a good idea to answer in this way, no or yes, right? That's not enough, right? You have to explain and go into more detail, but you'll see we carry on the answer afterwards. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. So again, we're copying really words and grammar from the question. Of course, we're using the present tenses and in the question and present tenses in the answer as well. And we carry on. We're making a bit more of a complex sentence by then saying, but. Okay, we're contrasting with what we just said. Well, I wouldn't say I have a favorite, but I do like pretty flowers that smell nice. So there we go. We're giving a bit of an answer that's still focused on the question and saying what we like, but honestly saying that we don't have a favourite. Again, a lot of people will be shocked by getting a topic that maybe they haven't really thought about or kind of prepared for or in their time before the test. But again, you don't really have to enjoy the topic or know much about it. You don't have to give positive answers. This is a more negative answer. It's okay to give that. You will also notice that this is just one sentence. But we've fully answered the question. We don't really need to do much more than that. And we can give 2-sentence answers for other questions we get. It's not really a rule that we always have to follow to give 2-sentence answers. If you have a look, the next question was, well, what kinds of flowers and plants grow near where you live? Again, a bit of a surprising question, one you might not expect to have to answer in the IELTS test. But again, this is the kind of thing they will be doing, and you really don't want to be shocked by it when you're in the actual test. Now let's look at how we answered this. I live in a big city, so there aren't so many. We haven't directly used the word flower there, but of course it's given in the question. The question before was about flowers, so it's pretty obvious. We don't have to repeat that. And again, you can see that the answer really is not being that positive or showing a wide amount of knowledge on this topic. We're just being honest. We're saying, well, there aren't so many, right? I can't really give you kinds of flowers or talk about the kinds of plants because there's not much. But I'm explaining a bit more afterwards as well. We've got a second sentence referring to the city we talked about in the first sentence. The city has a few nice parks with large trees and different kinds of flowers, but they're not really near my place. Now, of course, here we said, okay, well, there are some large trees in parks and different kinds of flowers in the city, in these parks, but, well, they're not really near to where I live, near my place. And that's what the question was asking. So really, we're just answering it pretty clearly and directly. Also, you'll see the phrase there, near my place, instead of saying near where you live. So we've managed to kind of paraphrase a bit there. And of course, in this context, my place means, well, my home. So there we go. A bit of kind of more kind of idiomatic language or language that's commonly used by native speakers. So some pretty good stuff there, but nothing amazingly impressive, right? Just nice, clear and concise answers, which are the kind of answers you want to be giving in part 1. Now, if we look at that third question and the answer to that quickly again, remember the third question is it important to you to have flowers and plants in your home? And again, right, we've given an answer here that kind of shows, well, we don't have a massive interest in this topic, and that's okay. Look, not particularly. Well, not really, right? That's what this means, right? It's not really that important. I don't think I've got any plants or flowers in my home. So we just explained that a bit, right? We've given a nice, clear, direct answer. We haven't actually copied the word important there, but we've given a nice, clear, direct answer. And then also we're thinking about it as we're answering the question, because the second sentence says, well, thinking about it, maybe I should get some. So again, right, we're saying, well, it's not that important, but maybe also thinking about it, maybe you should. So maybe it's a little bit important as well. So again, it's just giving these honest answers is probably the best thing to do in part 1, not trying to think that the examiner wants to hear a certain kind of answer, right? It's just being honest, nice and clear, concise, focusing on the question. That's what we're doing. And then that fourth and final question, have you ever bought flowers for someone else? Now, of course, if you look at this, right, it's a have you ever question, isn't it? So we often learn that, that's going to be a present perfect question. So when we give our answer, we should answer using the present perfect tense. But if you have a look at the answer, we've just said, yes, I usually get a bunch of flowers for my wife. Well, here, of course, we're using the present simple tense to give an answer. We're answering very directly here. We're saying yes, because have you ever? We're going to answer first, yes, and then I usually, the present simple, I usually get a bunch of flowers. Now here we've shown we've got an understanding of some topic related vocabulary with flowers, not a specific name of a flower or plant. We haven't used that at all in any of these answers, and you don't have to, but we have got the word bunch there. Now, of course, a bunch of flowers is a group of flowers. This is the noun we use to refer to like a group of flowers. So yeah, a bunch of flowers for my wife on special occasions. So we given the number of times, not just if we've done it once or twice before. I guess the speaker has done it many times, so they've said that and used the present simple tense. Then, of course, we've got a second sentence kind of explaining a bit more. We start with the pronoun, which is referring to a noun used in the previous sentence. The word she is referring to my wife, so that makes it nice and clear and linking those sentences there, which is a really good thing to do. She seems to appreciate it, and seeing her smile cheers me up a bit. Now, there's a few nice things here. I mean, she seems to appreciate it. She likes it. And also seeing her smile cheers me up a bit. Now, cheer up here is a nice use of phrasal verbs. And again, if we're looking at trying to kind of impress the examiner a bit, or kind of show them that you're looking to achieve those higher scores, we've got a bit of idiomatic language there. Cheer up is a phrasal verb, and it really just means to make someone happy. And it's this thing, her smile cheers me up. It makes me happy. So again, this is a nice bit of idiomatic language here. And again, it's not that you have to force yourself to use this type of language in part one, but if it does happen, if you do use it, then it's a nice thing to do and it can push your score up. So there we go. So nice 4 examples there of, you know, part one answers to kind of these questions on a topic that maybe you might not expect to be getting, but really in part one, you do have to expect the unexpected. You're going to get these questions that maybe they're trying to surprise you a little bit, and you need to know how to handle them. And really, it's just focusing on the question, listening carefully, making sure you understand, and then giving a nice, clear, honest answer. Often kind of trying to use 2 sentences, but it's not a rule. It's okay if you just answer with 1 sentence. If it feels more natural just to use 1 sentence, that's fine. If you feel like you can give a reason to support that first sentence, then that's worth doing too. Anything longer than that is really a bit unnecessary, and you don't need to do it. But there we go. That's it. Hopefully this video was useful to you and you can use some of these ideas and apply them to your own answers. And if you did find it useful, then do remember to click the like button. And also, if you haven't already, then remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any similar videos in the future. There we go. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next video.